name is Amanda Lee Murphy. I had been getting acupuncture regularly and decided to go to acupuncture school. So I went to Chinese medical school, and that really led me kind of to reproductive partners as I was going through all of my endocrine issues. I'm diagnosed PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I was really getting into it through acupuncture into really fine-tuning my body because I had all these doubts and had a doctor previously tell me it would be very hard for me to get pregnant. I kept hearing about reproductive partners, and he broke down exactly what was going to happen, what happens with your follicles, what happens with your eggs, what happens over time, how there's good ones, how there's bad ones. And so I ended up having my ultrasound. And so I actually had 28. And so we were able to have that conversation with him. And he said, out of those 28, after we stimulate with hormones, it will drop down a little bit. And, then it goes through its first round. And because we were making embryos, not eggs. So normally then you'd have the surgery, your eggs would be removed, you'd be sedated, your eggs would be removed. You go under anesthesia, and then they would freeze your eggs. Then COVID happened. And then my cortisol went a little bit up. Stress happened. I was one of the people who got pushed, which was fine. I was already taking hormones, but I wasn't on injections. And so I was pushed back. So my retrieval was supposed to be in March. And then when everything opened up, I went in and I had an ultrasound, and I only had 20 follicles. And so it was really a testament to me about what stress does. And so I think a lot of that drop in 10 or so follicles was my stress. So then really everything started really happening, I guess, the beginning of June. And so when I started in June going in more regularly and everything was underway, I started to see Dr. A more. I started my injections, and because of my PCOS, my hormones were climbing steadily. It was emotional in that it definitely was a little trying during COVID because Ryan, my husband, couldn't come into my appointments with me. The nurses were extremely patient with me and helpful in making me feel better. And so I had that conversation with Dr. A, and she really broke down what each medicine was doing. And that was the day of my trigger shot. So the trigger shot you take 36 hours before your retrieval. So what's interesting about the trigger shot is the next day, then you do a urine test and it tests positive for pregnancy. And then the next morning we woke up very, very, very early and went to Reproductive Partners in Redondo. And again, it was amazing. The nurses were so great, and Grace was the anesthesiologist. I felt very safe, and not being able to have my partner there, my husband there, I was okay. Surgery was easy. You go under for such a brief amount of time, like 20 minutes, I think, 20 minutes about. So when it was all said and done, I ended up having 18 follicles. It was a big success for us, and we're really, really lucky and grateful that we ended up we have 10 embryos. Overall, the staff they work really well as a team, and you can't ask for anything better than that. Acupuncture helps to regulate the body. So it helps to regulate the endocrine system. Acupuncture, in the most basic sense, fine. Even if you're like, I don't know about the herbs, I don't know all these things. Acupuncture is going to relax you. It helps to keep your body more calm. Acupuncture has been shown to balance out hormones. And again, I'm a testament to that. Never had a regular cycle until acupuncture. And then to now say that I have this regular cycle is huge. Please feel free to message me. I would love to give any advice or tips to anyone I can, because my biggest thing was that I had so many people to support me through this. If you're watching this and you're considering it, I highly recommend, if you don't know where you are in your cycle, if you don't know where you are, how many follicles you have, get a consultation, have an ultrasound, be in charge of your own health, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And you don't want to miss out when you're not sure what's happening in your own body.